tell us about when does an employer need to make reasonable accommodations, and what are reasonable accommodations?
Well, first of all, reasonable accommodations are really for someone who has a disability. It can also apply for people who are women who are pregnant. So if you have that threshold, and again, the threshold is very low for what a disability is. Um, I think when we traditionally thought of reasonable accommodations, we thought of, if someone has an eyesight problem and, different monitors and things like that, or someone has, a back problem, different kinds of, desks and chairs and, equipment to make them do the job better. The key is, can the company provide a reasonable accommodation for the employee to perform the essential functions of the job? So whatever that job is, you look at what are the essential functions, and is there a way to accommodate what the employee is requesting to allow that employee to get the job done? So a lot of it is just common sense notions. And, yes, sometimes there's cost involved, but unless the company is really claiming, an incredible financial hardship, it has to be an undue hardship for them. So if it costs a little bit more money, it's like, no, we can't do that because it costs a little bit more money. Sometimes a reasonable accommodation is going to cost a little bit more money. It's the employer's responsibility to do that. That's part of our obligations as employers, to allow disabled individuals to thrive in the workplace. We as a society have these disability laws on the books because we recognize that everyone can contribute to a good workplace, and diversity in the workplace is actually a very strong asset for any company. And we're seeing that, in a lot of different ways, with the Time's Up and Me Too movement, the Black Lives Matter. Yes, we're talking about, Black lives in policing, but we're also talking about, Black lives in the workplace. And, we could talk a little bit about that if you'd like, what types of cases are involved in race discrimination and so on, which is also an issue. So I think when it comes from an employer's perspective, I think the good employers recognize that diversity is a strength and that they're going to do what they can to encourage and foster diversity, and they're going to be there as a way to assist their employees to do their best work, instead of thinking, oh, is this going to cost me a few extra dollars? Because that kind of, penny pinching is very short-sighted and can end up, not only, making the workplace, less productive because people, you got a bunch of workers who resent you as an employer, you're not going to have a productive workforce. So it really is a win-win situation when I think employers are, more aware and really are more inclusive and work with their employees to do what it takes to help them to get the job done with reasonably accommodating them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'd hope that that would be the case, but I guess unfortunately, by the time they get to you, that's not the case.
well, that's it. I mean, we are here to help people when they've been, a lot of times it's wrongfully terminated, and and it has to be something where, where someone has suffered harm. Because generally, let's face it, my last trial that I won, the court, we then get to apply for attorney's fees. The other side has to pay attorney's fees. Well, because of my experience and success in the courtroom, the judge awarded me $1,000 an hour. Well, the average person isn't going to be able to call me up when, it's amazing. When I say, well, consultation, and I don't even hold it to an hour, but even if I say, well, I'd ask for $1,000, sometimes I don't get, people don't come back after that, and that's fine. I get it. I can't always work for free. But the vast majority of my cases are contingency fee cases where I'm not charging the person a dime. If it at the threshold, someone comes to me and after reading a summary, I really, in order to be efficient, we have an intake form. I have an intake team. I can't be on the phone with new clients all day. Again, how am I litigating cases for my clients if I'm taking new client phone calls all day? There's days we get between 10 and 20 new calls a day, right? So I have a team. So I encourage people who need a lawyer, work with their process. The good lawyers are not always going to be able to get on the phone with you right away because they're working really hard for their clients. We work really hard for our clients, so it's not reasonable necessarily. I always say we're not 7-Eleven. You don't come in, I need a lawyer and a Slurpee. I mean, we very carefully represent people who we think that we can help, right? So, work with the process. People, if they write a summary and even a good paragraph, then I'll know, okay, there's a good chance I could take this case on. Then I'll set up a free consultation. And now we're doing it a lot on Zoom, where it'll be me and a couple of my, another associate and a staff member taking notes, so that we're able to provide that free consultation in that instance. So, I would encourage individuals who think that they're being discriminated against or harassed, to carefully choose lawyers with experience, lawyers who communicate back. But if the lawyer has a process, work with that process. If that lawyer set up a process, they probably are doing so because they're in demand, and there's a reason why they're in demand.